Hi guys! So this video is going to be a book review of the books that I've read in the last month or two. I have 6 to talk about, so let's get right into it. The first one I read because of Sophie's recommendation. I'm sure you've all read it by now. I don't know how it's taken me this long to read any part of this book, but it is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. The copy of it that I have is like a really nice kind of moors scene on the front, which is pretty. I read this really quickly, which is saying a lot for me because the font is tiny. I know a lot of people don't like the part of the story after Heathcliff dies so much, but I really liked younger Kathy. I thought she was interesting. I think she was one of my favourite characters of the book. I really did not like Heathcliff because Heathcliff was a bitter old man. I'm sure you've all read this already and you don't need me to recap it for you, but I really enjoyed it and I should have read it sooner. The next book I picked up on a whim because I was in Waterstones one day and I decided I wanted to take a book home with me, and I bought The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer, which has this annoying Costa Books thing on it that's not a sticker. Like, you can't get that off, and I think it ruins what would be a very pretty cover. So, thanks Costa. The Shock of the Fall is about a teenage boy whose younger brother dies when they are children and how that affects his teenage years and his formative years. I said the same thing twice there, didn't I? How that affects him as he grows up. The author is a mental health nurse, so it has a lot of kind of mental illness and it's dealt with really sensitively and well. I like how the book kind of reveals information really slowly about what actually happened to his younger brother and what his situation is now, and the timeline kind of doesn't make sense until right at the end. His mum and his grandma are really good characters. His grandma's so sweet, she's probably my favourite. But it's just really easy to empathise with him and with the whole family, and I really liked it, and it was really sad and poignant and definitely worth a read. The next book is one that I started years and years ago and only finished when I reread it with the series, and it's Band of Brothers by Stephen Ambrose, and it's obviously not a companion piece. The TV series Band of Brothers was based on this book. If you haven't watched the TV series, you should definitely do that because it's one of my favourites. I rewatch it probably twice a year, and this book kind of just gives you a lot more information about the characters and where they are at certain times and what they're doing. It explains a lot of things that aren't particularly well explained in the TV series just because there's so much information to pack into 10 episodes. There's a lot of good quotes, there's a lot of funny anecdotes about the different soldiers. You just learn a lot from this book that you don't learn in the TV show, and I think it's definitely worth reading if you're going to watch the TV show again or watch it for the first time, because it just gives you so much more information and backstory. The next book I read because I haven't read many John Green books. I've only read Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars, and I decided I wanted to rectify that. So I read An Abundance of Katherines. Again, I'm going to assume that you've all read this. Maybe you haven't, I'll tell you what it's about anyway. It's about a guy called Colin who only dates girls called Catherine, and when the book starts he's just been broken up with by the 19th of these Katherines, and so he goes on a road trip with his best friend to try and find himself, I guess. I didn't always like the main character Colin. Like, he was quite whiny and neurotic at times and just not likeable, but there were enough good things about this book to make it worth reading anyway. That's my glowing review for you. You know, it was funny and it had kind of John Green's typical charming wit. It's good, basically. I enjoyed it, but it's not my favourite John Green book, and none of his books that I read after The Fault in Our Stars will ever come close, I imagine. But worthwhile, and I'm glad I read it anyway. One that I finished yesterday, the day before, is this one, which is I'm Only Here for the Wi-Fi by Chelsea Fagan. Chelsea Fagan writes a lot of articles on Thought Catalogue, which is how I found out about her, and I really like her writing. I really like that she named her book I'm Only Here for the Wi-Fi, so I bought it, and it's kind of a series of, not short essays, just kind of chapters on growing up and being in your early 20s. The subtitle is A Complete Guide to Reluctant Adulthood. So she talks about money and careers and friends and family and relationships and all that kind of thing, what it's like to be in your early 20s right now. I liked it. I like her way of writing. It's really informal, so I would recommend it. Maybe read some of her Thought Catalogue articles first so you can kind of see what you're getting yourself into with it. I say that like it's like really deep. It's not. The book that I am reading right now I got for Easter, and it was in Amazon's bestsellers list, so I thought why not give that one a go, and it is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, which has a really cute picture of a fox on the front and a little rabbit on the back. The book is about a girl called Ursula who is born in 1910 in England and dies straight away and is reborn immediately and then gets a bit further in her life, and then she drowns, and then she's reborn, and each time she gets a little bit further, I'm a quarter of the way and she must have died at least 8-9 times already. It keeps happening over and over again, and she has like a strong sense of deja vu, and she realises that this is happening to her, and she decides to do something about it and use it for something productive. I'm enjoying it so far. I like the period setting. I like that it's kind of like Downton Abbey-esque. She's from a rich family. I think I'll be able to give a better review of it when I finished it, but I just wanted to tell you that I was reading it. So that is what I've been reading in the past couple of months. I'm trying to get through as many books as I can. Hope you all had nice Wednesdays. I'll see you next week. Bye!